Never did that before. How do you do? It's me, Stefan Burchard, the Desert Bowtie Realtor, with your latest episode of Networking Nuggets. Today, I am with Rebecca Rizzo with the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce. Say that 5 times fast.
You said that so good. I'm so impressed. That was awesome.
Anyway, this is my good friend, Rebecca. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you and the chamber?
I am Rebecca Rizzo, and I absolutely love the entire Coachella Valley. So I have lived out here in the Valley for over 20 years. I was a single mom with 2 kids, moved out here, had no idea what I was doing. And this valley basically put their arms around me, hugged me, and said, "We believe in you and we will give you whatever you need to be successful." That was 20 plus years ago. And because of that, because there were so many wonderful people, I have been able to stay here in the Valley, build some amazing relationships within our Valley, Stefan being one of them, and just continue to flourish here in our community. And one of the cool things is that I get to work at the Greater Coachella Valley Chamber of Commerce. I've been a part of that organization since its inception, and it is a really neat, innovative chamber, very different than some of the other chambers that have been around forever. This chamber is actually made up of 3 different chambers when it started. So it was created with the Indio, La Quinta, and Coachella Chambers of Commerce. They all kind of joined forces and started to meld together and share their resources because they found how hard it is when this person over here is doing this and this one's doing the same thing and this one's doing the same thing, rather than get them all together doing the same thing and making that powerful and that focus. So what happened is the chamber all decided to join forces and really utilize all of those, everything that they had towards that same mission, which was helping the businesses develop and grow and be successful and have what they need available. So that was 3 years ago, and now, or 4 years ago, and within our first year, Cathedral City joined forces, and now we're actually Indio, La Quinta, Coachella, Cathedral City, Desert Hot Springs, unincorporated Riverside County, 2 tribal nations, the American Advertising Federation, Leadership Coachella Valley, and there's more, I'm sure, that will be coming down the pike. I know I'm currently working on a beauty association. Wow. Which will incorporate that. So having advertising, the beauty association, it's really whatever our valley needs. We start to get everybody together in that think tank, you being one of them. You're on the board of directors for Cathedral City. So within those different scopes, we want to get those right people together so that they can go towards that mission of making everything better.
Awesome.
And that's me.
Those of you that are watching and listening, you can tell from that introduction, she's just perfect for this podcast today. So Rebecca, Networking Nuggets is an exploration of business building through networking, social connections, and digital media. That is my tagline. But today, I've got those 6 questions I forwarded over to you. But when you think of venues or places to network, like a chamber, a BNI, other associations, is there anything that you would consider an uncommon gold mine of networking opportunities? This is to get people to think outside the box about where to network.
Well, okay, so it's really kind of funny because you're talking to a person who can go and connect and network anywhere. Yeah. So I would really say everywhere that there's more than 3 people, you can.
Absolutely.
I mean, really, that's really, I would anywhere. I mean, I've gotten together and connected at the courthouse on accident when we all showed up for jury duty, and before you knew it, we were all networking, standing in line at the DMV. So, I mean, it's really where I think the one thing is to find things that you enjoy doing and do them. And the people that you're supposed to be around will be around you while you're doing them. So don't worry necessarily about a specific place. Go where you enjoy to be, and the people that are like-minded will also connect and find you. And they're there so you can connect to them. Does that make sense?
Brilliant. I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. That's why I like to come out of other people's mouths and not mine. So then people actually think I might know something. Any materials of preparation you can think of when it comes to going to events or going to a venue or a networking event?
I would say really assess who you think is going to be there. So, first of all, figure out your brand. Okay. I always make sure that my brand's on point, and I am Rebecca Rizzo with the red hair. Okay. You have your brand too. What's your brand?
I'm the Desert Bow Tie Realtor taking knots out of real estate.
Right. So now every time you show up, you always have your bow tie. I always have my hair done. So those two things, no matter what, that's my brand. So I make sure I always have my brand whenever I go anywhere. But I also make sure I have a good attitude and that I assess where I'm going. So if I'm going to be going to a network event that might be outside and on the grass, I'm not wearing my spiked heels. If I am, no, because you have to think psychologically, how can I get myself into a place where I am more comfortable so that way I can engage somebody? If you are thinking about, if you have that one pair of socks that does not have the elastic and it continues to slide down into your shoe, and you walk into a networking group and you've got that sock wrapped down in your shoe and all you think about is that sock in your shoe, how much are you going to be engaging with those people in that thing? You need to get yourself into a good place. So wear comfortable shoes, assess where you're going to go, where you're going to be, who's going to be there, and what is going to make you enjoy and have people around you enjoy being with you. And that's if you're in a good mind space. So you're going to make sure you have your brand, you're going to dress for the occasion, and make sure that you are making smart choices, not just based off of style, but based off of comfort.
That's what I love about doing this podcast is people come up with just some of the best answers that I could never dream up of. Because you just touched on something. When it's the summer out here, it's freaking hot. And you know me in the bow tie, me in the dress shirts and the slacks, I gotta be on point, like you said. Well, I discovered places I can shop and get really, really dressy short sleeve shirts and very dressy shorts. And I put those on with a cute pair of shoes and I look professional, but I'm also comfortable in this desert heat. And people love it. People absolutely love the branding because I just wanted to be comfortable. I wasn't thinking about it being on point. That was just a side effect. So I appreciate that.
But because you have the style you have and you have the brand you have, you bring it and you'll always be on point. I saw you in the very beginning when you and I first met, and you had on a polo shirt because you were really hot, and you had a bow tie on with your polo shirt and it looked cool. I loved it. Yeah. So I think as long as you start to get a little bit more comfortable in your skin and a little bit less time in your head, you're going to bring something different when you come into network.
That's absolutely true. Can you think of any ways to educate ourselves or to inspire ourselves so that when we go out, we're on point? Or
yeah. Yes, tons. There's tons and tons and tons. YouTube is definitely my friend. It's very easy, and anytime I'm looking for anything, a lot of the time I will actually look. One of the ones I listen to all the time, and I've told you about this, is Abraham Hicks. Yep. Abraham Hicks is a really, really, really great one. It is non-denominational. So it can pretty much be anybody who believes in something bigger than themselves will really identify with this. And Abraham Hicks, you can look up, and it's really basically the connection to the all. It's, you know, when you have an idea that was out there in the abyss, right? You thought of this idea and you went, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be amazing? And it went out into the abyss and then it floated off. And then within 2 weeks, you see that idea at the store. It became a part of that abyss, right? So I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I just so got lost in what I was saying.
You were talking about the law of attraction as a point, as a point of inspiration for networking.
See? It totally, well, it's all about being creative and getting inspired. And obviously you can see Abraham Hicks gets me really inspired to where I start to get really creative. But Abraham Hicks, whenever you look for anything, so you can put Abraham Hicks networking, Abraham Hicks sadness, Abraham Hicks breakup, Abraham Hicks dementia, whatever it is that's ailing you, you can actually write in Abraham Hicks and then put whatever that is, and a talk, motivational speaking will pop up. I listen to that a lot. I listen to podcasts, but usually it always has to be about color and positivity. I always look up positive. And another thing I listened to was Tracy, Bill Tracy. Is that his name?
Sure.
Brian Tracy.
Okay,
Brian Tracy wrote this one book that is called Just Eat That Frog. That is a great one. So that's probably one, if anybody's ever thinking and they're not quite sure if they want to, should I or shouldn't I, should I or shouldn't I? Eat That Frog is one that really kind of just says, just do it. Just do it. What are you waiting for? Just go for it. That's a good one. I really think the most important thing is to continue to get educated and continue to look for things that resonate with you.
Yes.
Don't stop because you don't know who to find. You know, I look on Pinterest all the time too. So I look for a lot of motivational like memes and things like that. So there's a lot of times there's a certain topic that I'm looking for, and I'll go through and look up motivational topics on blah, blah, blah. So that way I can get into that mindset. I'm constantly feeding my brain with information to get me engaged to others. Does that make sense?
Perfect. I love that, because you're basically telling people, hey, go to YouTube and search and find out what lights you up. So that's how I am. I heard from one of my business coaches that you find a couple authors that really resonate with you and drill down deep with that person, all of their writings, all of their podcasts, just keep going back to that person. So like you're doing that with Abraham Hicks. So I've got like two people. There's one author, Dan Kennedy, phenomenal. He writes this no BS, whatever is the titles of his books. I love that because straight to the point, just like me. And then also Darren Hardy also, he's a motivational speaker and a sales teacher. So I go deep with them, and that's where I get a lot of my inspiration. So tell me about a funny story when you were at a networking event.
Funny.
Or maybe humorous, something that was like, oh shit, but it taught you something. Pardon this curse words, y'all.
That's like all the time. That's like all the time.
That's probably because you have a sense of humor.
Oh my gosh. Like, I think the one thing is, I'm not going to say like stories just because there's so many. There was actually a networking issue. It was a networking thing, but it was at a ribbon cutting.
Same thing.
And we were doing a ribbon cutting, and I was kind of getting everybody corralled, and it was it was in La Quinta. It was when I first started. And I was getting everybody ready and prepared for the ribbon, and I kept going, okay, you guys, okay, hold on. And I was backing up to try to get the perfect like shot. And when I backed up, I tripped over the parking medium. I tripped and fell, and my skirt ended up over my head and there and watched. Luckily I had shorts on under my dress. I always wear, especially out here in the valley, because it's way too hot, but I completely fell backwards, and it was, that was embarrassing. And I learned to have a good sense of humor, to always wear shorts under your dress and to just be able to laugh at yourself. Because that was really, really embarrassing. I mean, it was everybody. I had the boards of directors, and there were city officials, and there was everybody there. And it was a big pool place. And I just had to be like, oops, okay, I'm good. I mean, everybody, are you okay? Are you okay? I was much heavier then too. So it was quite a sight.
Wow. Any ahas or things that made you go,
Every day. I'm going to tell you the reason why I got involved in the Chamber of Commerce was truly, I'll give you this story. It was a truly divine intervention. So I had recently gone through a major transition within my personal life. My father, who had raised me, had passed away. And so I was kind of like reassessing all kinds of stuff in my mind. And I would go out to my garden, and I would meditate every day and just kind of get lost in my garden and just figure, okay, Rebecca, what is it that you really want? What is it that you're really missing? And what is it that makes you happy? And this was before the chamber. This was, I had networked before, but not like this. And it continued, that voice in the back of my head continued to tell me that you want community and you need to find like-minded people. And so one day was driving in La Quinta, and I was actually working kind of briefly shortly after this, after doing some healing and some, licking my wounds and stuff. Probably about a month or so after my dad had passed, I started working for a publication, an LGBT publication in Palm Springs briefly, and was out wanting to network because I wanted to connect to more people. And I ended up in the La Quinta Chamber of Commerce building, and kind of talked to them. And when the woman who worked there, her name is Annie, she looked up at me and asked me if I wanted a job. And I did not know why I ended up when I ended up there at that time. I was not looking for anything, but something in my head said, yes, listen, pay attention. And so had I listened to all the other people behind, I would never have been in the position I am right now with working with such an extraordinary community. Yeah. I stepped in at a time where it was the perfect time, the perfect place, everybody was there the way it was supposed to happen. And then within 6 weeks of me saying, okay, because it took 2 months for them to negotiate back and forth with me to think about even coming on board. And after that 2 months was up, within 6 weeks of me getting on board, my CEO at that point was no longer at the organization. And that was when the merge started. That was when the collaboration amongst the Valley started. So when you're asking me for a aha moment, this is the aha moment, is the fact that I could feel as though one organization could be connected throughout the entire Valley, because our Valley is one amazing community, one amazing community. We have pockets and we have neighborhoods, but honestly, we are one whole community that loves each other. And so I knew that's what I was supposed to do. And I knew even going through all of this that we're going through right now with the coronavirus, everything that we're dealing with in this weird sci-fi bubble, I know we're going to end up okay. I know our Valley's going to end up okay. I completely know we're going to end up stronger and more innovative than ever, because this Valley thinks outside the box. Yeah. And when they see something in front of them and they say, we have to figure out a solution for this, there's amazing minds that come up with it. So being a part of the organization or the community and knowing that all of those minds, I couldn't ask for anything more than to be able to be around it. Brilliant. Our Valley is awesome. Move to the Valley.
Awesome. Yes.
Ask Stefan. He'll hook you up.
Yes. Do you have anything to add that we haven't discussed as it relates to networking and connecting?
I probably, one thing I'm going to leave you with, we probably touched on it a minute, is I think the most important thing is to know that we're all nervous. We're all nervous. We're all worried. We're all nervous. We're all hoping that we're putting our best foot forward. And me, being the me that I am, when I first started getting involved in networking, I was scared out of my mind. I mean, I was nervous. Are they going to like me? Are they going to talk to me? Or am I going to just stand there and look stupid? All those things went through my mind too. And don't ever worry about that, because there's going to be people like me and Stefan that are at those groups who know where to find you. Just have a smile on your face. Know that everybody is uncomfortable. Everybody there is uncomfortable, and it's okay. Get past it, work through it. You're going to be happy you did. And within 2 weeks of you out there networking, you're going to be like, dude, I'm a pro. That's how easy it is.
Thank you. I really appreciate you bringing that up. So
yeah,
what I always say about not just networking, but business and being a salesperson, it's like, if you're not scared, you're not trying hard enough. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. Yep. If you're not nervous and shaking in your boots, then you're not shooting high enough. So, that's why we do what we do. So
yeah, well, expansion, yes. The contrast creates expansion. It gets us uncomfortable, so we have to move out of our shell and move into a new thing. And as we grow, it continues to happen.
Yep. Perfect. Well, I hope y'all have enjoyed this amazing experience that I've had with this lovely, vivacious redhead. Again, this is Stefan Burchard, the Desert Bow Tie Realtor, signing off from Networking Nuggets with Rebecca Rizzo. Oh no, I got to use the other hand.
Rebecca Rizzo with the red hair.
Yes. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.